phone? Is it 5, 10, 20? Not me. I'm just in and out with my wheat bran. Now, how about the shower? Time in the shower. I know there are people out there that are sudsing up and jamming and singing to the music. Not me. It's just in and out. Mr. Sudsmaster and fellow fun masters, it was always just in and out for any matters of business in the bathroom for me until recently. 2 years ago, my wife and I were out shopping for mums at Home Depot, and the salesman hands me a coupon. It's for bath fitters. And I see all I have to do is choose a shell, and between a curtain rod and a glass door, in and out, I am in. And the bath fitter comes in one day and transforms my shower. But it's not quite so simple, because I see that my wife really was using bath fitters as a dry run because she wanted a complete makeover of the guest bathroom. One day when I'm out, she pays our daughter to go into my bathroom and strip off all the wallpaper. They're hoping that I will be pushed to paint, but I don't. I just leave the bare walls. Just this past March, that daughter that stripped off my wallpaper moves out. And we see that she has stripped the paper, or at least lifted up the edges, by her habit of taking long, steamy showers with no fan on. Long story short, we find 2 contractors to estimate. The first is a bit sketchy. The second, I grab a hold of immediately because he says, let's do a 2-for-1 package deal. We will simply throw out all the checkerboard towel, do all the painting. You can leave your shower as it is, and we'll just replace your wife's. Simple in and out. But that's not quite right. The contractor's name is Dan Stenka. That's Slavic. And he says that he is praying for his home country of Moldova because it borders with Ukraine. And he's wanting to take his 3 children and wife there for the summer. And then he says, as soon as we return in August, we'll do your 2 jobs. We're thinking, is this going to be money out? He leaves the country with our money? Because he's wanting 50% up front to reserve our spot. Still, we think, well, we will sign that contract and we will sign that check. But we begin having other doubts, because when we go to the Greenville warehouse to consult about the towel, he said he would be there, and he is not. I still send him in an email our choices, and I send him some photos from my stamp collection of Moldova's artistry. And I say, Dan, when you return, make sure you apply Moldova's artistry to your doing of our bathrooms. We get no response. All summer, we hear nothing from Dan. The Friday before he's to start work, I call him on the phone and I hear this groggy voice. It is Dan. And he says, I just got back into town last evening, and my men and I are going to be at your place Monday to start work. 5 weeks later, that job is near complete. And all his workmen are Slavic, and they can't speak much English, but are very well-versed in Romanian, and they hold up their phone for translations as need be. My wife and I, that last week, are stepping over the work, having to use the plumbing in my bathroom one day, the plumbing in hers the next, and we have all coming together. We have the tile there, the slabs that are mounted here. We have even the mosaic around her vanity mirror and at my splash guard. And all over there's wainscoting. The finishing touches come into place. And had you visited as a guest in our guest bathroom, you may not have been wowed, but my wife and I are fully wooed. These days, I'm not just quickly in and out of either bathroom. My wife, Carol, will shoo me away from her bathroom, but when I'm in mine, I now take time. It's not just in and out. I linger. And there are lulling moments where I'm just loitering, looking everywhere. And about that throne, I sit on it longer, whether I've had the bran or not. And when it comes to my shower, I must confess that I am singing in the shower. I'm singing in the shower. What a glorious morning, just singing in the shower. Mr. Funmaster.
Thank you, Stan. You would have learned to linger earlier if it was -40 outside. I promise you that. But that sounds like a lovely place to spend some time, do a crossword, and maybe read a newspaper. Next, I shall pass over to Susan to revisit the compliments and constructive criticism.
Thank you, Peter. We'll go right to it with Rajiv, William, and May. So Rajiv, 30 seconds.
Stan, I enjoyed your storytelling and how he paced himself. It was so easy to understand. I was in the story, so I absolutely loved it, and amazing ending. I think many of us are going to remember that kind of ending. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, William. Second up.
I don't have a lot to add, but I quite enjoyed the speech. From a humorous perspective, I was thinking about, okay, there's some ways we can incorporate a bit more with the ideas of the throne room. For example, at the end, well, saying being on the throne, well, you could say at the end you've got your own palace or your own throne room. That's something you could perhaps play with the idea of.
Excellent.
Just from a standpoint.
Thank you, William. Next up, May, 30 seconds.
Yes, that's for sure. There's no taradiddles in and out bathroom. That was so much fun. You described it so good. And lots and lots of visual. We have to imagine what you're talking about. And thank you for the song at the end.
Welcome.
Thank you. Next three up are going to be Tom, Sue Lighthoff, and Francine. So Tom, 30 seconds.
In the world of speaking, I always want to know the whiffum. What's in it for me right away, early in the presentation? Otherwise, I'll be off on Facebook somewhere. You didn't give me a good whiffum at the beginning, but you had enough entertainment that kept me drawn in. So that was a unique style of doing that. I'd always encourage, put some kind of a hook at the beginning to really make me want to listen a little bit longer. But it was definitely your style made it worthwhile for me to not go back to Facebook. Thank you.
Next up, Sue Lighthoff.
I loved it. I was wondering, you talked about the Moldovan stamps. Is there anything, do you have when you look out at? Another thing I was thinking about, it was just funny if you could have done the in and out thing a little bit more. You talked about money out, but what about money in? And one of the things I just got me laughing was you were talking about the mums. Were you looking for a mom or were you looking for the mum as the plant? Sorry, that got me sidetracked on that one.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Next up, and to close it up, Francine.
And I love the way you were talking about in and out and then use that little taradiddle with the wheat bran. And I think you could have carried that on a little bit more. In the shower, the in and out in the shower, you could have used a taradiddle with the soap on the rope. And then at the end, you said, now I like to linger. You could have used the taradiddle like the king in the jungle on his throne. Back to you, Susan.
Excellent comments from everybody. Back to our master of ceremonies, Peter.
Well, I think I speak for everyone when I say we're just glad you didn't go full Monty on us. Well, it's time for a little bit of deliberate humor. We have a joke master with, believe it or not, a joke. Tonight's joke master is Linda Ramrath. Take it away, Linda.
Thank you, Peter. I didn't know the theme in my mind, I was having issues with memory the last 2 weeks. So I focused on memory. And I have two jokes. The oldest computer can be traced back to Adam and Eve. It was an Apple, but with extremely limited memory, just 1 byte, and then everything crashed. The next one is, so a 1024 megabyte memory card walks into a bar. The memory card spots a piano and sits down and starts playing some incredible music. After a number of songs, mostly original, the memory card gets up and the bar goes wild with cheers and applause. The bar owner was incredibly impressed and runs up to the memory card and says, "Buddy, you were incredible. If you come back tomorrow, I'll split the night's till with you." "No can do," says the memory card. "I'm limited to 1 gig.
Waka, waka, waka.